Okay, gentlemen, welcome. First of all, just wanted to say that obviously not in school at the minute. Unfortunately, my partner has coronavirus, so what can you do about that? Luckily, I've escaped it somehow, so I'm doing well and self-isolating at home. So doing what has to be done. Unfortunately, I can't be in class to teach you at the minute, so over the next couple of days I'm hoping to put up some YouTube videos that hopefully the teachers that are covering the class will be able to put them up. They won't be for the full class, they'll be for some of the class, and hopefully then you'll be able to work away for the rest of the class after that, after I've given you some instructions. So I hope everybody has their book, and I'm going to ask you to open up the main book so that we can get started, and we'll just read through some of the stuff in the book while I'll be explaining it to you as we go, and then there'll be a little bit of work after that when the video is finished that you're going to complete yourselves. So it's a little bit different obviously, but I'm just trialing it today, so I'm hoping that you'll be able to help me out with this and put in as good an effort as possible as you can to make sure that you're getting something out of the class anyway. So Iontook ar fad. So Bhliain Gaeilge sa cúigiú bliain oscail an leabhar le do thoil té go dtí leathanach ceithre is a néadaig 419. Leathanach ceithre is a néadaig 419. Cade is 100, mille 1,000, million a million, so 419. As we go, I'm going to be using the laptop here because my book is actually in school, so I'm using the online version. So it's very handy actually to go to cjfallon.ie, which is the name of the publisher of the book, and they actually you'll be able to use. You won't have to bring the book home then if you have a laptop at home, basically, because you can go on the website and download the full book to your laptop. So that could be a handy one, considering it's a 500-page book, not exactly too light. So Féicear ceithre is a néadaig 419. So filiocht ag fécinn ar an poetry aniu, lads, right? So seo Dawn cad is anam don nághfuil Géibheann le Kathleen Maud, so scríomh Kathleen Maud an Dawn seo Géibheann. Bhliain Gaeilge Captivity. So Captivity is the name of the poem. Géibheann as Gaeilge. Certainly appropriate for myself at the minute. Definitely feeling like I'm in captivity here while restricted to staying at home for the next week or so, after a week already. So it's definitely a poignant one for me anyway. So let's have a little look first of all at the poem itself. So ag fécinn ar Teacs an Dawn. Teacs, we would have talked about that the first class that we had. Teacs is the text. Teacs an Dawn is the actual poem itself. What is it? So if you look at the yellow box, underneath that is the poem as it is written by the author. Okay. So just reading through that now for the minute. Let's have a little look, everybody, at the book on page 419. Teacs an Dawn. We're going to skip Tema first. Okay. Anna bhí mé, Anna bhí alta, as na teocréasa, a bhfuil clú agus cáil ar mar scéibh. Chróf an cráinte na cuile tra le magár. Ach anois, líam síos, agus braithníam trí lethúil ar an grán éonrach sin hall. Tagta na céad de daoine chuile lá, a dhéanfad rud ar bit dom ach mé a ligean amach. Okay, so lots of interesting sounds in that poem, and remember, for your oral exam you're going to have to read out one of the 5 poems that we have as a test of your reading skills. So it is really important that you know exactly how to actually read the poems correctly, and some really interesting words in this. So Anna bhí, an animal. Anna bhí mé, I am an animal. Anna bhí alta, so I am a wild animal. Alta sin wild, an focail ar wild. So cén sort actually dús cén sort anime. What is the actual animal we're talking about here? Well, leon atá I gceist, a lion, Leon, leon. Sin an sort anime atá I gceist an seo. So lína a trí as na seócréasa a bhfuil clú agus cáil mar scéibh. So in the first paragraph we get an idea of the what the line is like. As na seócréasa lína tríd sin as na tropics, okay, so from the warm climates, warm places, a bhfuil clú agus cáil mar scéibh. So I am famous for my roar, for my shout or scream. Altadó crofan cainte na cuile tra le magar. Okay, so oftentimes the trees in the woods would shake with my roar. So again, what would you think that is actually showing? He's a kind of on cork the taiga, on power, the power that he has, the strength that he has. So sin sort part hain. In this poem there's two parts, part hain agus part do. Sin part hain on leon, yeah, and with faoin air out in the open air, corked up, powerful, on Ryark on jazz, a nice view on a jazz, leon on jazz to áhasar. Now part a do, second part. Acanis liam sias agus bratniam trí lahul an gran einrach sin hall. So, but now, what's happening now in the present moment? So part a do, tá sé láthach bound, it's in the immediate, in the present. Part a hain, fado, in the past. Acanis liam sias agus bratniam trí lahul an gran einrach sin hall. So now I'm lying down, looking out through a half eye at the one tree in the corner. Okay, so sort brown, tá brown an leon an seo, part do. So tagan na céite dína chuile lá. Tagan na céite dína chuile lá. Dína, se, tuigeann sé sin, circílíonn sé sin people. So tagan she, they come, a lot of people, hundreds. Céad is 100, as I said at the start. We're on page 419. So Kera Cade is an édig. So tagan na céite, hundreds of people come gachlá every day. A dhéan fid rudder bitdom, last paragraph, a dhéan had rudder bitdom, who will do anything for me, ach mé a ligan amach, okay, who will do anything other than let me out. So it's sort Don Bronach Aisha. This is a sad poem in a lot of ways. So just ag fécinn there on sort, I suppose, Bron atá Sudan shop. So just taking up some of the notes I have on this to give through you. I'll be putting these notes up on the Microsoft Teams class that we're going to have. The group that's online that all of you have been connected to. So you'll be able to check out these particular notes this evening if you go on it. So it's really important now that you go on and have a look at the notes that I've made out, which are quite different. They're a lot more simplistic, on a simply fad éasca, easy, so like to able to eat a eáil a nocht lína on Microsoft Teams for Microsoft Teams. So fécar sin. So a couple of points about the poem that we want to just go through. Let's have a look at, so a couple of uckerfuckle, very important key words that we need to know about this poem. So Géibheann sin captivity, okay, we know that the name of the poem is Captivity. Scríomh, Kathleen Maud on Don Shaw, okay. Tá anaví sa don, leon. Is say on leon on príomh anaví. So the lion is the main animal, the only animal really in this. Okay, tá sé part of hain, tá sé the tropics. In the first part of the poem, he's in the tropics in his natural environment. Áit nádúrtha. Agus an sin tá sé is zoo, in Géibheann is zoo. So part of do sa don seo in the second part, tá an leon istig is zoo. Okay. Beidir go raibh cúpla díne sa seomra an seo is zoo riva. Okay. So cuaig mis go dtí an zoo, tá zoo in Mália ách lia. I park an Fionishka Phoenix Park. Okay. Agus so dara part in the second part of this poem, tá an leon istig sa zoo. Well, tá an zoo prison. It's a prison. It's a sort of prison. Agus tá an leon istig I cás. He's in a cage. So there's a lot of interesting and important words. Okay, so one word, again, just looking at the words that you're going to be able to see on the Microsoft Teams sheet. So saoirse is freedom, díoirse is enslavement or oppression. So there's definitely a bit of that. Páirte hain, saoirse, páirte dó, díoirse. So we break the poem up into two parts, really. That makes it easier to understand. The line when he was in the wild and free, and then when he was enslaved and captured and in the cage. Okay, a couple of other important words. Láidir. Anybody in the class, I want to know what láidir means. Okay, which part would it be? Páirte hain or páirte dó? Láidir is strong, so that would be páirte hain. Uasal is noble. Cóchtach, powerful. Alta is wild. So big difference then in páirte dó nuair atá sé sa zoo, is leon lag atá, lag weak, tían tuirseach, very tired and sick. Briste, broken. Tá a spirit, briste. Okay. So anaquid, ruddy tábhachtach Sudan seo. So an important part of the notes that you'll see on Microsoft Teams is that I've written actually out the poem in the most simple terms possible, and it's just it príomhsmaointe to undone the main thoughts of the poem, or the main most simple part of the poem. So what you're going to do is just going to have a listen. I'm going to read this out as Gaeilge. Okay. I've tried to make it as simple as possible. It's still going to be difficult to understand. Okay, but just give it a go, try and listen, see how much you can understand it, and then we'll come back to what it means again in a minute, just to get again a sense of today. I really want to get a sense of what the poem is about, nitty gritty wise, before we go into any tamey undone no ruddy marsin. Okay, so let's have a listen to this as simple as possible. So príomhsmaointe undone. Bhí an lón ina conaí sna teocraisa. Bhí clú agus cáil le ghar mór. Ba ana bhí láidir agus cóchtach é. Conaíonn an lón I gás sa zoo an seo. Anois. Tá sé lag agus tuirseach. Níl a crawn amháin sa cás beag. Fécinn a lán daoine gach lá. Is even leis na daoine seo an leon. Is ma leo an leon. Ach ní ligean siad amach é. So that's at the most simple kind of parts, that breakdown of the poem. So again, the line is in the wild, in the tropics. He's famous for his roar. He was a strong and powerful animal. Now he lives in a cage in the zoo. He is tired and weak. There is only one solitary tree in his cage in the corner. A lot of people look at him and watch him every day. The people love the lion, but they will not let him out. Okay, so just kind of toshe simul, interesting. It's done on a clichte so toshe jascalor. Just like going back again, having a look at the book, the main book on Laur Féin, back to Cara Cade is an Édig. Look at page 419. Again, just having a little look at Ferbert on Tema. So now that we have an idea of what the poem is about, so Cadasan Dundon, Géibheann, Cé Scríomh an Don, who wrote it, Kathleen Maud a Scríomh an Don. Okay. Then we're going into character, who are the characters, but character Leon, Ton Leon. Okay. On Siamh, that's another important word, it's the location. So Siamh páirte hain na teocraisa and faoin air, yeah, out in the open in the tropics. Siamh dó, the second part of the poem then is on zoo, cás sa zoo. Okay, cage in the zoo. So an important distinction there to know that there's two different locations in the poem. So just looking again and looking at the bottom of page 419, just take a moment or two to read the different words that are coming up on the bottom of page 419 under the theme folklore, which is vocabulary, and theme. So Géibheann is the first word. Have a read of those for a minute. Okay, now coming up to the top, so lots of different interesting words. Some of the ones I mentioned already. Dírsha is captivity, or it says captivity there. I'd be saying more oppression or enslavement. And then Saoirse is freedom. Okay, so you might know that name. It's a pretty popular Irish girl's name, Saoirse. So Saoirse and Dírsha, very opposing ones, but that's the nature of this particular poem. Tá páirte hain, bunathe ar Saoirse, páirte dó, bunathe ar Dírsha. So anna difríocht an sin idir páirte hain stán agus páirte dó sa dán seo. Okay? Féic muid ar bhar Carricade is anedig at the top of 419 then, just having a look at this theme, what they've written it as, and maybe we can write in a little bit if we have our book there, just to write in some of the stuff that might come up here. So, thema, theme, Theme. An Dírsha is thema den dán seo. Ar leibhéal amháin is dán simplí galore Géibheann. Faoi anamhí a tógadh óna áitdúchais sna tropachaí agus chuirgisteach I gás sa zú mar thaispeántas. Ach ar leibhéal eile is dán iliac é. Faoin Dírsha agus faoin éaspa Saoirse atá ar fud na cruinne. Is í an tíirse an rud is luachmhara ar domhan, ach ní higtar sin go dtí go gialtar í. Okay, so anna smaoineamh an sin. So just to go through that, an Dírsha is, I would actually add in, as well as this particular one, I'd add in that an Dírsha agus Saoirse. So it's enslavement or oppression, and Saoirse are the themes of the poem. So an Dírsha is thema den dán seo, oppression is the theme of the poem. Ar leibhéal amháin, so amháin, leibhéal anna cosúil leis an béarla, level. So on one level, it's done simply galore Géibheann. Okay, simply éasca. Faoi anamhí an animal a tógadh ón áitdúchais, so who was taken. Okay, tóg is to take something. Tóg mé an peann, chur mé an peann. Sheas. So I took the pen. So tógadh, an animal who was taken from its natural áitdúchais, his natural place, sna tropachaí, agus a chuirgisteach gás sa zoo, and was put into a cage in the zoo, mar thaispeántas, as an exhibition. Okay, so chuirgisteach was put in a zoo, in a cage. Ar leibhéal eile is dán iliac on another level, so a deeper level still. It's a universal theme, because Dírsha agus faoin éaspa Saoirse ar fud na cruinne. This is something that happens all the time. The author is saying here that it's not just about the particular animal, that it's about the other places as well, other parts of the world too. This happens all the time. So quickly going to plug this laptop in so we don't run out. Okay, super. So again, an interesting take on that. A simple way to put it is an téma Dírsha agus Saoirse, but again they're saying a little bit more is that it's a universal theme, lack of freedom, oppression, and this is all over the world. Is last line. Let's see if you can piece together what it means. Look at the bottom of the page. and try and figure out what some of these words mean. Is í an tíorsa an rud is luach fra ar down ach ní hiagtar sin go dtí go cialltar í. So I want you to open your copy and I want you to write down what that means in English. Use the bottom of the page to help you with it. Okay? And see if you can figure out what it means. See an tíorsa an rud is luach fra ar down ach ní hiagtar sin go cialltar í. Take it 30 seconds to have a look at that and get that done. Okay, so what is meant by it? So is í an tíorsa an rud is luach fra ar down ach ní hiagtar sin go dtí go cialltar í. So by that they mean freedom is the most valuable, precious thing in the world, and it is not understood until it is lost. Okay, just going to check in a little bit more on some of the important things. So just going to read through it one more time, the poem itself, and then I want to touch on how with poetry and stories we're going to focus on specific literary techniques that we're going to be looking at in each of the Cuaig Dawn atá Gwyn 5 poems. So Seo Bhliain Gaeilge le Kathleen Maud ach ba mid ag díriú isteach ar rudí na rudí céine I ngach dawn. So ag díriú dírig is to focus, so díríonn me I focus. Dírig muid we will focus on. So we will focus on the same kind of general points, okay? So before we go into those, let's read the poem one more time. Just having a look again, reading it once more to yourself, please. Anna bhí me, Anna bhí off you go, and read it to yourself quietly. Okay, one last time today before we move on and let you get up to something different. Anna bhí me, Anna bhí alta, as na teocréisa, a bhfuil clú agus cáil mar scéibh. Chróf an cráinte na cuile trach na mahar. Ach inis, líam síos, agus bratníam trí lethúil ar an grán éonrach sin hall. Tagan na céad dína chuile lá, a dhéon fid rudder bit dom, ach mé a ligan amach. Ítach, okay, so just ag vacant cúpla technique filiachta, so the poetic techniques that we'll be focusing on. So we've already spoke about ochre focal keywords, and I've gone through loads of those: leon, presume, log is weak, lots of those. So we'll need to know some of those. They're up on the Microsoft Teams. You'll be able to see it this evening. That's going to be part of your homework. We went through the Príomh Smaointe an Dawn. So what's the basic message of the poem? And then over the next couple of days, when we're doing this poem, and then when we get to the other poems, we'll be focusing on the very same things, a couple of basic things in 5th year. So like I spoke to you already, this is the notes that you would use to, do the poetry in ard level, organal level. So we're covering both at the minute, and then when we get to 6th year, we'll be topping up the notes that we've done this year with a couple of extra little bits to cover more of the things that come up in higher level. So Téimeas in Tábhachtach, we'll be looking at the theme of the poem. B'minic feginjar Ivana. Okay, so sin focal Tábhachtach Ivana Kade on Eva is fearlat Sadan. So Eva is an image. So what are some of the interesting images that we're going to be looking at? Mohucán, Tuigeann siad go léir mothúcháin maybe. Mothúcháin is emotions. So what are the emotions that come up in the poem? Cumá sin fécinn muid Coddersnucht sa dawn. So Coddersnucht is contrast, and then on ma lat on dawn. Okay, so tá cuaig rudaí téma íomháine mothúcháin Coddersnucht agus on ma lat on dawn. So we're going to look at the themes, we're going to look at images that come up, we're going to look at emotions that come up, we're going to be looking at the contrast that we see in different parts of the poem, and then we're going to talk about our opinion. Do we like the poem, yes or no, or why that is. Okay, so have a look at that this evening. That's part one of your Obervalia for this evening, is to look at Géibheann and the notes that I put up on Microsoft Teams before the class tomorrow, where we'll continue and do a little bit more. Okay. Next thing I want to have a look at is just having a look at a page. Last week we did a little bit of oral preparation and we went as far as myself and my family. So I want everybody open up Oscail le Holanish Lando Cade Fihe Ado, Cade 100 Fihe Ado 22. And we're going to have a little look at page 122, and we're going to, for the rest of the class, I'm going to give you some work based on this to do. Okay, so having done the main part, is to look through our poem and start doing that poem, we're going to have a little look here at preparing some more questions for the oral. Remember, the oral and the listening exam is worth 50%. Okay. So in this particular part, we're gonna do page 122. Just open your book on 122. Goody Céad is Fiche a Tree 123 and Céad is Fiche a Car 124. So there's two parts to it. Céad is Fiche a Do 122 and a little bit of 123 is a question asking you a simple question about Cadasted, where are you from? Okay, so that's question 1 on page 123. Then you've question 1 to question 4 on page 123 to 124. So question 1 to 4 on page 123 and 124 are about your house and what goes on at home. So Ivrahain Dain Kershis de Chok, right? Describe your house. So what one is it there? Bungalow. Isema Choksa. So my house is a bungalow. So you're putting those two together, and then underneath here we have Toshe Moor, Toshe Compordok, Toshe Brochach, Toshe Titamasakela. So you're adding those in there. So your first sentence is what the house is, and then just describing it. So if you had a detached house, Chok Squitcha is a Machaksa, and then the second sentence, Toshe Moor, it's big. If you can add a little bit more to that, that'd be great. That's very simplistic. You might talk about, a little bit more of a describing word than just it's big. Question 2, Céibhéad Seomra Cullertá Guibh, how many bedrooms? Éasca galore. So tá Ceithre Seomra Cullertá a Gcuin, tá Gá Seomra Cullertá a Gcuin. As you can see. Question 3, Cábhfuil de Theach, where is it? Toma Teach Sitche, it's situated Tomé Maconi. Toma Orasan Sitche in Acha na Farraga, Toma Orasan Sitche I Lár an Bhaile in the town centre. You could throw in wherever part of Dublin you use, so you could say Ballyauchlia Cahir, Ballyauchlia Do, Ballyauchlia Nay. Moving on to page 124, 2 more questions to have a look at here. On ma lat áit chonathe, cén áit bhat lat a bheith ide choní. Okay, do you like your home where you live? Where would you like to be living? So is bralo me. So the top 2 are simple. This is the answer to the first part. Do you like where you live? Is bralo me, is fula me. Obviously you could also throw in is mahlum, is evenlum, I love. It's bralum, I would say, is I like. So it's evenum isn't even if you really love where you're from. So you might say it's bralum a ve. I mo cónaí an seo in éireann, or you could say is bailm a bheith I mo cónaí an seo in mbaile á clia. The bottom three then are saying where you would like to live if you had a choice. So lots of options there. And then why? Why do you like where you're from? So if you said I like Dublin, I like where I'm from in Dublin, you might say tá sé áisiúil, it's handy. Tá sé difriúil, it's different. And then you'd use bheadh sé, it would be, to describe what the other one would be, what the second one is. So and then you can add in these other little words at the bottom here, mar tá and I'm sure Géibheann. So for example, it's fulam a bheith an seo in éireann, mar tá when I'm sure Géibheann, because the weather is terrible. Go dunnit, go fása, go hálinn, míle úr níos fearr. So those are kind of the bits and pieces that you need to go at now and have a little look and see. That should bring you up for the rest of the class. As well as that, you might remember, gentlemen, that the Microsoft Teams, I've put up a group there. There's an assignment due for tomorrow. So the homework really is to go on Microsoft Teams. You're finishing this work on page 122. You're finishing the work on 122, and you're doing that now for the rest of the class. And then your homework for tonight is to look at the notes I put up on the poem Géibheann, and then there's an assignment that's been given to you since last Friday. I need the assignment to be emailed to me. The deadline is tomorrow evening, so the assignment is on page 114. Okay, so page 114 and 115, and you answer questions 1A to 1 or to 5B. It's a simple, well, it's not simple, but it's a comprehension. You should be able for it. Again, use folklore.ie, and there's further instructions on the team. So have a look at that and have a look at the assignment. Fair play to Suleiman, who's already submitted it. Well done. Got that out of the way. Fair play. And other people as well. I need you to make sure you get that submitted tonight and send to me for correction. So gentlemen, that was great. First on my part, getting a YouTube video done. Probably the most boring one of all time, not going to get many views, but listen, I hope you're all doing well, and try and get that bit of work done now for the rest of the class and do the stuff at home tonight, and we'll see where we are then after that. Okay, take care. Slán.